What if the line between reality and fiction blurred, making nightmares real? He is not born in a thunderclap. He gathers himself piece by piece, a careful voice that never rises above a whisper, a door that shuts without echo, a mask that fits too well. Somewhere a van idles, paint matte and unremarkable, the exhaust mixing with the faint sweetness of helium. On the passenger seat, a bouquet of black balloons presses against the window like night trying to enter daylight. The grabber doesn't stride through a headline. He seeps in the way damp climbs drywall or mildew takes a closet. He learns to wait. He learns to listen. He learns when footsteps above lose their edge, when a breath means panic and when it means surrender. The concrete remembers his patience. Cold, granular, unsmiling. Origins rarely come with calendars. Think of a boy told to hush until quiet embeds under skin like a splinter. Think of a face that becomes two faces, one for the street, one for the cellar. The mask is more than disguise, it is an agreement with the mirror. The devilish grin replaces uncertainty with a fixed expression. The frown is not sadness, it is theater. And the theater requires audience. In this second chapter, the curtain lifts again. He returns, not as rumor but as detail. The scuff on a stair, the hairline crack around a lock, the shadow of a hand on the wallpaper. The grabber is a chilling villain back for revenge in Black Phone 2, and his ritual breathes anew. He is haunted by his own stage. Those phantom voices that slipped through a dead line once taught him limits. Now they tempt him to cross them. He collects memories like trinkets, arranges them in a pattern only he admires. The phone waits, black and stubborn, a lump of rotaries and ghosts. When it rings, the sound is not a chime, it is a bruise forming. Keep your voice steady, the old advice says, because panic feeds the room. Yet this sequel eats calm for breakfast. Under its skin lies a psychological engine that never cools, powered by the most ordinary dread. Not monsters, not gothic castles, but the small room without windows, the latching of a bolt, the certainty that no one knows where you are. The film draws fear from familiar rituals and warps them. Dripping faucets become metronomes. A fluorescent tube stutters like a dying breath. Dust motes swirl as if the air itself tries to speak. The eyes behind the mask do the rest, flicking to the door and back, calculating chances. Control is the predator. Helplessness, a hunted thing. Memory is a trap too. Survivors carry a landscape no one else can see. Floor plans etched into nerves, a catalog of scents, bleach, cold earth, old sweat, and a permanent awareness of distance between any chair and any exit. Black Phone 2 bottles that sensation and lets us breathe it until our lungs sting. Sound design burrows under thinking, bass notes throb through ribs, high tones tease like insects near the ear. The ring of the phone lands with impossible accuracy, as if it knows the moment the viewer swallows. Frames lock tight, then relax just enough to suggest space, then pinch again. Faces fill the screen the way nightmares crowd the brain at 3 a.m., too close to name, impossible to ignore. What makes the terror singular is the way agency splinters and reforms. Children improvise a codebook from scratches and whispers. Adults falter, convinced their experience will save them, and find that experience bends under pressure. Time loops in small ways, a step repeated, a plan rehearsed, a mistake relived, each iteration cutting deeper grooves. The phone becomes a compass pointing not north but inward, to instincts most people bury. Answering is not superstition, it is survival, relearning its vocabulary, one syllable at a time. Nights in the film feel like nights in certain neighborhoods did decades ago. Sodium lamps bleeding orange, moths bumping the glass, sprinklers hissing on patchy lawns, the smell of gasoline hovering over curbside gutters. The Black Phone grew from Joe Hill's sharp little nightmare, and the sequel keeps its boots planted in that specific earth. North Denver's late 1970s textures, scraped knees and chain-link fences, baseball bats in garages, faded flyers on telephone poles. The production design leans into analog grit. Wallpaper curls at the seams. Freezers hum with tired authority. A rotary phone, a Western Electric workhorse, sits like a relic dug up from a burial mound and wired straight to the afterimage of suffering. Pick it up and the handset feels heavier than it should. This world also holds residues of very real anxieties from that era. Suburbs that pretended to be safe carried their own blind corridors. Kids biked unsupervised, vanished into summer twilight, and parents trusted television to return them by 9. The film does not imitate old tragedies, it borrows their weather. Photographs from the 70s inform the palette: sun-faded reds, bruised blue shadows, nicotine-stained ceilings. Police bulletin boards with map pins mark patterns that nobody wants to see. Costume choices rustle with authenticity: windbreakers, patched denim, t-shirts softened by too many washes. Even the soundscape flashes back: rattling box fans, a radio muttering AM news about strikes and storm fronts. A basement speaks everywhere the same. Concrete needs no translation. The sequel's settings listen to that language: standing water reflecting single bulbs, conduits sweating in summer heat, a hatch that sticks then suddenly releases and hurts your shoulder. While crafting these spaces, the filmmakers draw from places you might drive past without noticing: shuttered roller rinks with tin ceilings, defunct phone exchanges with rows of silent switches, municipal buildings with echoing stairwells, a half-demolished strip mall where wind drags a torn poster along cinder block like fingernails. Horror thrives where the everyday turns slightly wrong. Field recordings capture the moan of a distant train, the static in old wiring, the insect click that only starts after light goes out. Every brick feels handled. Every surface bears a history you can't quite read. As night falls, will you dare to answer the black phone? The hour leans in, window glass turns from mirror to void. Street sounds thin, replaced by that peculiar stillness that makes houses listen to themselves. Somewhere a dial tone waits, flat and eternal, a horizon line of sound. Then a ring cuts across it like lightning etched in audio. Your fingers already know the weight, the cool curve of Bakelite, the slight stick of the coiled cord as it unwinds. Sweat beads under the earpiece. Breath fogs the airstream. You stand in the doorway a second longer, asking your bones what they remember about thresholds. If you raise the receiver, you aren't only accepting a call. You're testing the border between what happened and what can happen again, between a voice that helps and one that hunts. The grabber loves that hesitation. He counts on it. He measures the time between ring and pickup the way a fisherman reads slack water. Yet the line can run both directions. The sequel suggests that some lessons refuse burial. Footsteps can be learned, locks can be understood. Patterns can be broken like cheap latches if you lean with enough will, shoulder against wood until the frame groans. Stay with us in the dark, patient as the camera, alert as the silence before a storm. Keep your lights at a low burn and your doors latched, because stories like this prefer an audience that knows when not to blink. You know how these nights go. A voice slips through a wire, a plan takes shape, and the air in the room gets colder by a few degrees. Join us tomorrow for more haunting tales, and bring a steadier hand for the next call. Subscribe for more Midnight Legends.